Merry New Year, everyone. It's that time again, time for my top 10 films of the year 2023. Now, as I look back to the films I've seen this year, I don't really think it was that stellar of a year compared to years past, but of course there were some standouts. What I look for in a film are the three E's. Does it entertain me? Does it educate me, or does it make me feel any kind of emotion? That's what really resonates with me. That's what I look for in a film, and these are the 10 films this year that gave me those feelings. So without any further ado, let's go right into it. So at number 10, this is the movie I've seen the most recently, so maybe there is some recency bias to it, but Wonka is my number 10 film of the year. I'm a great fan of musical and musical films. I thought Timothée Chalamet was fantastic as a lead actor. When I first saw the trailer that came out a few months ago, I thought, ooh, I don't know, man, is this film gonna be any good? Chalamet, I don't know, the whole musical thing, but I thought he did a great job. The story, the fantasy element to it, I thought it was a great origin story to the film that we all know and love back from the 70s or 80s with Gene Wilder. I thought it was really well done. It's a feel-good movie, and I really enjoyed it. At number 9, we have Creed 3. It's not too often that the third film in a film franchise will make a top 10 list of the year, but Creed 3 I thought was really well done. It was Michael B. Jordan, who is the star of the film, his directorial debut, and I thought he did a really bang-up job. I love the way he choreographed the fight scenes, the boxing scenes. There were some anime type influences there that were pretty obvious, which I thought made the fight look really great and kind of gave it a new perspective for boxing film fans. The whole story with the childhood friend played by Jonathan Majors was really well done. So the story overall was very simplistic but very well executed. Next, we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's really unfortunate this film got overshadowed by Barbenheimer, which came out the following week, but this film should not be overlooked. Tom Cruise has just been stepping it up level by level with every Mission Impossible film, and this film does deliver. The new characters that are introduced all play well into it, as well as the classic old characters from the franchise. It's all a great blend of stunts, action, espionage, and thrills. I thought it was a really fun movie. Next up, we have what I thought was the funniest movie of the year, and that's Joyride. Why is no one talking about this movie? I had a great time watching this movie about 4 girls going on a road trip to China. I thought it was hilarious. The chemistry between the 4 leads was great. It was really well written. I just had a great time. So if you haven't seen this movie already and you want to have a cracking up good time, I really recommend it. I'm a big horror fan, so I gotta have a horror film on my top 10, and for me, the best horror film this year was Talk to Me. I couldn't believe when I found out that this movie was made by YouTube creators, and it just goes to show you what the talent level of the YouTube industry is, nowadays, and the fact that they were able to make this really intense thriller with some great thrills, some great gore for their first movie. It's really impressive. It's really original concept and idea, and the execution was phenomenal. I was scared, I was thrilled, I laughed. It was a really great horror film for the year. Alright, now we're going into the top 5. At number 5, I have May December. I'm not too familiar with director Todd Haynes' work overall, but I know that I really enjoyed Carol, which came out like 6 years ago or so maybe, and I really love that human element. I like that story, that storytelling part of it, and this movie, which is somewhat based on a true life story, I thought was the reason why it worked for me was the acting. Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, and Charles Melton, the 3 leads, oh man, they all stood out. They made their characters their own. They played them the right way, despicable when they had to be, innocent and naive when they had to be, scary when they had to be. It was really intriguing to me, and I thought director Todd Haynes really did a great job of overall putting the film together with the really unique, if you will, score elements to it, and the storytelling, the acting. I thought it was really fun. At number 4, we have a really controversial film, and that's Saltburn. This film has turned off a lot of people from what I've seen on social media, but I personally thought it was great. I'm a big fan of director and writer Emerald Fennell, who did Promising Young Woman a few years ago. That also was in my top 5 for that year. And I feel like, with the success of that movie, the studio was like, you know what? Fuck it. Just do whatever the hell you want with this movie. So whatever crazy ass shit you can think of, just put it there on screen. And she did. Yeah, of course, there are some really standout scenes that everyone's talking about. Of course, the bathtub scene, the graveyard scene, etc. Overall, I was really intrigued by the story of, the whole eat the rich philosophy about this, this guy who just wants to be a part of that world and will do anything to be a part of it. And that was really intriguing to me. And Barry Keoghan is becoming one of my favorite actors of this time. I thought he was fantastic. And the movie, I was just entertained by it. I had a real blast with it. Alright, it's time for the top 3, and this is another movie I just saw within the last week, and it's The Holdovers. I mentioned this before, but I really love movies that have really personal stories about real human characters, and this movie's concept is so simple. You have a really, really rich preppy boarding school. A student is forced to stay over there over winter break with the most asshole teacher that they have, and they're stuck together for 2 weeks, and there's gonna be some bonding. It kind of really reminded me of Scent of a Woman almost, and Paul Giamatti did a fantastic job, and the whole cast, it was great, and I just love just seeing these two characters bond over the course of the film, and just the way that they become more vulnerable, open up, and it's again a real human story, and I really, really appreciated that. Number 2, we have Godzilla Minus One. I will preface this by saying I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. I've seen some of the Japanese ones, I've seen all the American ones. I feel like, they're alright. But now I know what Godzilla can really be, because this movie was freaking amazing. I couldn't believe how well they could blend in the human element and the monster action. The human element is so important because you have to have these characters that act as your persona on screen, and they really did a good job of making you care about these characters, giving them a really a good story to fall back on. And then you had the monster action, which was freaking amazing. The special effects, the CGI, whatever it is, practical, whatever, I didn't care. It was freaking cool as hell. If you're not a fan of monster movies, I think this one may turn you to become one. And finally, at number 1, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is the only movie for me that got a full 10 out of 10 rating this year. And it's because the animation, the storytelling, the score, the voice performances, it was all stellar, all flawless. The animation is just so unique. It's nothing like you've ever seen before. You're not gonna see this in Disney or Pixar or any other studio. The animation here is like so bam, in your face, but bam, so damn well made. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was going whoa, whoa, whoa. And to put that all together with a great storyline, you can get really, snarl up into and care about. And yes, this is the second part of what's probably going to be a trilogy, but I thought this was better than the first installment, and I hope that the third installment is even better, because man, this film was freaking great. It's my number 1 film of the year. So thanks everyone for coming along with me this year. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, MC on Film, and we'll look forward to more reviews in 2024.